got a 2007 Chev HHR here, and the blower motor decided to not work too well yesterday after it started squawking at -20 Celsius a while ago. It did eventually work, but it was time to take a look at it. Now, so you got to take the glove compartment out, you got to take this panel off, glove compartment, what have you. Then I disconnected the wire here to it, and I also removed the speed control resistor, because this vehicle, I've been getting strange smells, like something's hot, like oily hot. I thought it was the transmission, and then there's like a whirring noise and different things. But anyway, it's possible that it is the heater motor, so I'm going to find out. But anyway, when you get into the repair manual, it's not a good thing when it starts off and says part of the plastic housing must be cut out with a sharp utility knife and the motor reinstalled with a factory mounting kit. Make sure you have the kit before you remove the blower. Well, I don't have the kit, and in my humble opinion, it's total BS that you would ever need some kind of a kit, and that you have to cut the housing to get the blower motor out. Now, it's true, you do. You got to cut the housing because it's joined together right there, all the way around. It's one piece. Why they would make it that way, I don't know. Save a few cents and make life difficult for anybody who ever has to try to fix one. General Motors seems to be good at this type of thing. It's just unfortunate for me that now I got two of them. So, I guess I'm kind of stuck with it, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. Like, I thought working on a first-gen Focus was bad. Well, you ain't seen nothing yet. Anyway, dig into it here and see how much fun I can have. Well, after some real fun work with the good sharp knife, I finally got it cut all the way around and it fell out. Some real good engineering there on their part. So basically what goes on, you got 3 holes here, and you got 3 mating holes in the housing, so the one will be like where my finger is. And the kit comes with a ring and 6 holes. So, you know, then you'll make it the way it should have been in the first place. But anyway, so a lot of the problem with this motor is that the whole thing was wet. Due to, in my opinion, a faulty cowling design. But as you can see here, it's had water for a while. It's got rust down in there. So I'm almost thinking that, you know, maybe there needs to be like a water drain hole here somewhere. Might be a, you know, good idea. But, I mean, you want to stop the water from getting there in the first place. But if that doesn't happen, that's an alternative. So the commutator there doesn't look too bad. I'm going to sand it down with about 2000 grit and wipe it off good. Clean it up. Brushes aren't, you know, worn to a nub or anything, so I think I might be able to get it back together. Well, I got nothing to lose, right? If I can lubing that front bearing, that's like impossible because this is squeezed on without a clip or anything. I mean, I could try squirting some down in there, but who knows if it'll find it or not. So I'll definitely grease up this bottom bushing here, but I got nothing to lose because I'm just going to make 3 little tiny straps with dual holes in them instead of buying that ring. But I tried to fix the cowling there with some silicone seal, so hopefully it won't be getting as much rain into it now. That's definitely getting cured also. But I'll give this a try. You know, I can give it a test run with 12 volts on the 2 connections there to find out if it's going to squeal or work or whatever. So, I mean, a new one's like 60 bucks, so. But it does come with that ring kit there, so. Anyway, the joys of working on, more joys of working on General Motors products. Fun times. But like anything, like I say, these things can be repaired. You know, oil on that bushing, and odds are it'll, and keep the water out of it, odds are the thing will come back to life. So It's just an electric motor after all. It's not rocket surgery. Everybody have a good one. Got the motor dissected here. Sorry for the noise from the furnace. Even though we're almost April, the furnace is still running. So anyway, to get this apart, you got these two bolts that stick up through the end housing here like this, through those two holes. And you just take the 7mm nuts off them, and just don't let that L-shaped bolt fall down in. It's on a, you can see it right here. It comes up through there like that. It's not a bad setup actually, because on the old motors that bolt goes all the way through, and sometimes they'll break off. They'll get rusted in due to just the length of them. They're like, 3 inches long. But anyway, so you get those two bolts out, and then I had to pry this off with a screwdriver on, flat blade screwdriver on each side, because the shaft was a little bit rusty. So this one, I drilled 2 drain holes in it. I'm not necessarily recommending that to everybody, but in this case that's what I did. Then I cleaned it out, cleaned the rust out as best I could. Then I lubed it up with some transmission fluid. There, furnace shutting down. And then to get the brushes out, it's this piece here. You take this. It's just a bunch of washers there, spacers. Take it off, and then this will slide right out. The brushes stay attached with the wires. I don't want to do it again just because, but anyway, they'll just go twang, and it's so to put it back together after I polished the armature and the shaft and everything, and after you do that, then you put the brush back in each one. You got to hold it there, and then put the other one in, and then spread them far enough apart just to get them, and then it just drop. Well, yeah, see, shaft is a little bit out there. There, it's all back together now. Then, now, before you do this though, you want to mark. See, I got 2 marks here. Actually, I got a 1 and a 2. Now, almost did it. Before you do that, you got to put your spacer back on. Spacers, there's a stack of about 3 of them there. Then you just you get your, like I say, I got my 2 there. Just line her back up, and there, and then these slots, and it will line back up. And then you proceed to feed your L bolt through there, through the hole, and don't drop it. And then put the nut on it. Do them one at a time. And when you get it all done, I'd recommend testing it, just 12 or 9 volts to your 2 wires there, and it should work. So anyway, fun with heater motors. Okay, so I've got my hold-on tabs that I made put onto the heater motor there. So got the dimensions for them here. I'm using 1/2 inch long number 8 screws. I'll try to hold this steady here so you can. The tab's 1 1/8 long, 1/2 inch between centers. Using 11/64 hole on one side and 3/16 on the other. Like I say, they're number 8, 1/2 inch long screws. These particular ones are drill bit tip, but if you want to know what that is, it's about 162 thou outside the thread if you stick a caliper or a micrometer on it. So that should give you the dimensions to make it. The reason I went bigger on the one hole was I figured that'd give me a little bit of misalignment clearance. As you can see there's no problem with it sucking the head of the screw through. So you don't want screws any longer though, or you'll screw through the plastic, and then you could have a possible water leak into your passenger compartment. But and then I added a couple of drain holes in this housing here. It's possible air will come out of them, but we'll see how that works out. So anyway, that's how I solved this problem of removing and reinstalling a heater motor that you're able to repair. And it looks like a person could get oil to that bottom bushing there through that hole. So that could be something to remember. So anyway, I hope everybody has luck doing this and that these dimensions work out for you. So, everybody take care. Little Miss Katie came for a visit. Oh, by the way, on the screw hole closest to the firewall, I had to use a 3/4 inch screw. Not sure why, but could be General Motors having fun again. So I gotta admit, I didn't check the hole sizes before I in the blower, or no, in the outer housing before I put the screws in. But the other two seemed to go fine, but the back one, it seemed to need a longer screw, and of course it's right by the firewall, so you're practically standing on your head to put it in. So anyway, wish you the best of luck with it there, right, Katie? You wish them all the best of luck? Katie here, you gotta be like, I don't know, 16 years old at least, right? Isn't that right? Oh yeah. Yeah.